Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our second open house for our European Solidarity Residency. Um, Today is your opportunity to meet with the partners. So we have representatives of Dubrovnik, Art Radionica Lazareti, Srdjana, Cvijetić, and Petra Marcinko. We also have a representative of Progressione from Budapest, Hungary, Anna Némethné, and last but not least, I am representative of Lidice, and we also have an extra representative of former resident in our pilot residency in Lidice, which was the testing for this actually round of European Solidarity Residency, and it's Anna-Lina Bloho who will speak later. Sorry if I pronounced incorrectly the surname. Sorry, it always surprised. Anyhow, back to this. So to describe, we are currently recording. So for people who are watching this uh, on record, which actually I have to say I'm very surprised pleasantly how many people watch the previous one. So yes, for those of you who are watching it from recording, from the from record on YouTube or on our website, please be minded that the recorded part will be just the welcome, brief recap and clarifications, then meet the partners and former resident in Lidice, and then the info about ESR Commons with a thank you, and then we will stop the recording, and then the Q&A for everyone who is here today will not be recorded. So I want to warn everyone who is here now. So if you will speak during this presentation and have a question, which is absolutely fine, please go ahead, ask anytime. You will be part of the recording. If obviously you wait until the Q&A, you can ask during the Q&A and it's not recorded. So let's get right into it. So today in the welcome, which I hope will not last more than 10 minutes, we will have a brief recap, qualification, what is ESR, who can apply, and what support do we provide. This is because in our first session there were some questions and clarifications. Also, we get questions on email. Please do always ask at hello@solidarityresidency.eu. The contact is at the end of this presentation. Also, this presentation will be available to download from our website, so no need to take screenshots and such. So, ESR overview, just to remind everyone, it's a residency that explores how art and solidarity intersects locally and internationally through research, dialogue, and practice. ESR empowers early career emerging cultural professionals residing in creative Europe country, especially those from underprivileged background. ESR offers 20 fully funded residencies, 10 in 25, 10 in 2026. To reach as many people as possible, we also offer free ongoing access to all online talks, Q&As, and resources for everyone who applies. All you have to do is join ESR Commons for free. There will be more details about it at the end, but obviously everyone who already applied or has looked at the form, you have to become the member of the ESR Commons. Looking at the timeline in 2025, so this is the timeline for the open call that's currently open. So obviously the open call opened on the 14th of August, and it closes swiftly at 1 p.m. on Friday, the 12th of September 2025, 1 p.m. Central European Summertime, just not to be confused. And then we will have a second round of selections following straight away after that. And on Thursday, the week after, which is on the 18th of September, we will announce the second round selection. Then we will conduct second round interviews between Monday and Wednesday, the 22nd to 25th of September. And just so you note, as I mentioned in our first video, you can obviously, we are more flexible in these dates, so it's not that we will tell you, we would prefer that if we agree on the time exactly, but there is a potential for little moving things around, but not much. Please don't expect that it will be as flexible as you probably wish, but definitely it will take time take place between Monday 22nd September and Wednesday 25th September. Sorry, there is a mistake. So sorry, there is a mistake in date. Pardon me. This will be corrected um, for the thing. It's a Wednesday 25th September. Pardon me. Here is a mistake. I will change it now so no one is caught in it later. Sorry about that. And then Friday, 26th September is the decision when we will notify those selected. We will still, as I noted in the previous meeting that we had, we will give you an option if you are not selected to straight away pass your application to the second round in 2026, so you won't have to apply again. But that's up to how you feel. Also, we will give you feedback, so please note that that might affect whether you choose to apply again. We have to mention obviously that our funders, ESR and supporters. So ESR is co-funded by the European Union, and then the views and opinions expressed are those of the authors only and do not necessarily reflect those of the European Union or the European Union Education and Culture Exchange Agency, EACEA. Neither the European Union nor the granting authority can be held responsible for them. And we have great support from Call for Curators, ArtMap and ArtTalk. Thank you for that to everyone. Who can apply eligibility? We encourage applicants from all backgrounds, especially those from underprivileged communities and industries. We are committed to a residency program that reflects diverse skills, experiences, and abilities. We also encourage those with children and those affected by any war to apply. The open call is open to residents from the European Union and 13 non-EU participating countries in the Creative Europe program, regardless of applicants' nationality, which, for example, now is this list. So if you ever are in doubt, this is also available at the form stage and on number of places on our website. As I just heard, if you are, for example, from Moldova, it looks like you will be able to apply next year because Moldova is joining the 13 non-EU participating, so it's be 14, I guess. But it will be in 2026, so unfortunately you won't be able to apply now. And what matters is your residency, not your nationality. So it could happen that you are, for example, Czech person living have a residency in United States. Unfortunately, you can't apply then. But if you are US citizen living in Czech Republic, you then can apply. So it gives a bigger pool of people who can apply. Obviously, it's a question, where is your residency, to make sure that's the defining factor. Also, we wanted to define the early career culture professional curator. So early career, obviously someone who is in early stages of creative development and professional career, regardless of their age. It really doesn't matter how old you are. However, if you are established curator cultural professional with exhibition or performance history with public exhibitions curated by museum or more significant foundations, performances program in international national festivals and theaters, this obviously expects some significance. I think I think you would know with publications and also with publications. So, if you already have done shows in the national museums that are significant, obviously doesn't mean that you have some performance somewhere. No, if you are in doubt, always get in touch. We are happy to clarify rather than presume. Always please write to our email and we are happy to discuss what is the exact moment. However, ESR is for early career curators and cultural professionals. So, as I mentioned, again, repeat, if you are not sure which one of those you are, email us. We will help you. We want to make sure that you don't waste your time applying, but also we don't want people that are eligible to not apply. Second definition is the underprivileged background. So first to know, this is not a necessity. So you don't have to be from the underprivileged background to get a place. However, as I mentioned in the first video, overall, we have a benchmark of 50% from underprivileged background. So we presume around 50% of accepted will be from underprivileged background. That doesn't mean that it has to be 50-50 from this one. It has to be overall. So just to bear that in mind. So underprivileged refers to people who face social or economic barriers that limit their opportunities. This can include, for example, individuals from low-income families, those who are unemployed, disabled, migrants or refugees, members of ethnic or cultural minorities, people from rural or remote areas with limited access, education, culture, and or anyone who has experienced systematic disadvantage in pursuing their career. And we may ask for proof later. The support that we provide, I just leave it here. We talk about it. This is on every site of our website. And then there are top-ups that we didn't clarify as clearly. So this is why we are putting them here right now. So the last time we discussed something and I actually mentioned something incorrectly. So if you have a children age under 10, you will be given extra 100 euros. I mentioned incorrectly 300 and I'm really sorry. It's just 100. And it has to be child under 10, and it's fixed regardless of the number of children. Sorry, I jumped one screen. You will receive visa support of 80 euros per person for expenses related to visa processes. And disability support may provide up to 100% of daily allowance, but this is subject to approval by the ESR team. This is in line with the Creative Europe and Culture Moves Europe standards. They also have normally green top-up. We have no green top-up because we will book your travel ourselves, so we will ensure that your travel is as green as possible. I will just double check if we don't have someone waiting. No, sorry, I just revealed probably. Okay, great. So this is now clear here. This is the top-ups. All of these you would have to discuss with us if you are selected. And you know, these two are pretty much straightforward. The 180, this one is obviously subject to approval. So this is the same. And now we are finally finishing this part. I made it in 10 minutes, which I'm very happy about that. And you will have an opportunity now to meet the first partner, who is Srdjana from Art Radionica Lazareti, and she will tell you in the next 5 to 10 minutes more about their residency, their institution, and their program. So, Srdjana, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Srdjana, and I am at the head of our organization, and I will just briefly explain what it is that we do. We are an independent organization, which means that we are registered as an NGO, and we are situated in the heritage complex of Lazareti, which was originally built as a quarantine station. We run here a small but very vibrant cultural center. We produce and organize all different kinds of contemporary arts events. We run our annual program. Our program is actually based on the whole year activities. So we have a couple of main streams, which is one is the Otok Gallery, which means Island Gallery, which is the program of contemporary visual arts. Then we have the program Quarantine Scene, which is the program of performing arts. We have this one group of activities which we call Participation Antidote, which is dedicated to different kinds of workshops, talks, public talks, presentations, artist research, residencies, but also we combine it with a lot of community activities such as fairs, such as meetings of our neighborhood, such as concerts and some kind of more popular activities than contemporary arts project itself. So this program serves as a kind of glue between our community, our neighborhood, our audiences, and our artistic projects. These programs aim to engage both sides, this production side of artists and ourselves and citizens, and we foster creativity, dialogue, and community capacity building through culture. We believe that arts and cultures are process, and that we, through arts and culture, can benefit the positive social change in our societies, which is, I believe, getting more and more important in the late times. So what we proposed as activities during the residency, it is lectures and talks about solidarity and activist movements in territories of ex-Yugoslavia. They will be provided by our external experts. Then we as an organization, we can provide workshops and learning by doing, which means that through being with us at our center, our applicants will have the opportunity to get to the immediate work, to learn from immediate experience about what and how we produce our programs. Our yearly budget is not so big, and we have to manage in different ways. So there will be also opportunity to talk about this and to learn about this, how to achieve, how to organize and how to achieve more with very limited budgets. So then we plan to provide hands-on experience, that's working with our technicians. Mentorship that we are planning is based on our participatory and community engaged approaches. With our participatory projects, we can introduce our archiving methods, because we also believe that that documentation of our work and the work of any independent organization is really important. We were established in 1989, so this is the 36th year of our existence, and we now can say that we have a huge archive, but we also have a lot of knowledge and a lot of skills about how to deal with difficult times and difficult circumstances in political and I don't know, economical context. Then we can provide peer exchange and dialogue with our team. We will take our residents to site visits to our neighborhood, to other locations which are close to Dubrovnik. You will have opportunity to show us what your ideas and your work, and that's it, basically.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Srdjana. You will have an opportunity to obviously ask Srdjana questions later.
Yes.
So thank you. So we will now move on to Lidice. So I will take over now for this bit again. So, Lidice Art Collection is a public solidarity collection that was established in the 1960s by British physician and member of parliament Srdjana. All of our collection is donations from artists worldwide, including Joseph Beuys, Gerhard Richter, Mona Hatoum, Wally Export, Alfredo Jar, among others. We are part of Lidice Memorial. Lidice Memorial is a memorial established to commemorate the victims of the 1942 Lidice massacre, when the Nazis came to this village of 500 people and murdered all the men and all the women to the concentration camp Ravensbrück, and claimed to have re-educated the children, but in reality, pretty much all the children were murdered. 82 children were murdered in the gas chambers in the concentration camp Helmno, and the surviving children and surviving women after the war have been part of the rejuvenation, which was, kind of created here next to the former village. Where the village was, there is an empty space, and a new village was built right next to it, where the houses were given to the surviving women and children. And as part of the village, there is a gallery which hosts the collection, Lidice art collection, and also a rose garden established in 1955 uh, as part of the solidarity process and a celebration of life that happened here after 1945. This art collection was for many years stored, was not publicly available, and also the collection was, like there was no, it was not exhibited in Lidice. It's exhibited in Lidice since 2003. And since 2023, we have become much more active in terms of the activities that we do. We are now creating more in-depth, focused exhibitions and public programs. We also started the residency program that you will be part of if you are selected as part of the European Solidarity Residency. We are the leading partner in this, so we will get to it maybe later. What does it mean if you are selected? But then overall, we try to be an active part, much more active, much more engaging part in the cultural life in Czech. And as we are founded on solidarity, or as our unique selling point, if I say this way, is solidarity. We really see solidarity as a tool and as a thing that we really need to. We are uniquely positioned to bring into the society, into talking about solidarity, because solidarity, for example, in the post Eastern European sphere, sometimes is perceived as almost a dirty word, and we don't see that. I think and we think that it's really important that the solidarity is not just international but also national to support the those that otherwise are disadvantaged, which unfortunately, if I speak about Czech, there are not many possibilities for people from disadvantaged background to be in culture, for example. Overall, you can see here we are working with also with number of other institutions. Obviously, part of it is the European Solidarity Residency, that we are so kindly joined and working alongside Progressione and Art Radionica Lazareti, but also with local partners like National Gallery, Transit, which is part of the Transit network, and many more. Last year we worked with Kunsthalle Vienna, Skopje, Solidarity Collections, and others. If you were to join in Lidice, you will have like possibility of working with the collection. The collection is quite small. We have like 650 artworks. So I think especially for people who never had an experience with collection or want to learn maybe basics, it's very administrative, but it can give you some grounding for future work. If you are, for example, curator and are thinking about working in a museum or institution, the question of working with collection will always arise in your interviews for jobs. And so this would be a great opportunity to have a first experience. You will be invited to conduct a research in the Lidice art collection, but you will also have an access to Lidice collection. So even though primary the Lidice art collection 650 works, Lidice collection overall has also photographic collection which has about 6,000 photos. It has a archive which is roughly 700 items, which is things that were found here after the massacre. Or they were donated from women. We just have from the surviving ladies of women. We just have an exhibition about the celebrating 8 years of anniversary since they returned. In our gallery, we show artworks they created while they were uh, in Ravensbrück concentration camp. You will also have an access to workshops, talks, mentoring sessions, field trips. We have a car, so we will take you around Czech a little bit. Maybe Anna can a little bit later say about our field trips last year. And then you will have also opportunity to work on independent projects. So in some sense, it will be really important that you are very good in time management, or at least at the start, we not very good. We will at the start go through it together. We also have the advantage of last year pilot residency here, so we can really, I can really highlight to you what is, you know, what are the challenges that you might face, especially for looking at timetable. And you will, of course, meet creative professionals, professionals from local institution, and you can or may or could, whatever, propose a public intervention inside our gallery, and at the end receive review and certificates. Last year we didn't do certificates, but we will do review session at the end, and you will receive certificates of conducting this residency. Uh, Overall, I really, if you are interested in applying to the Lidice art collection, I also encourage you to visit the Lidice memorial site. You will be able to see maybe the scope uh, of what is available there, because it's not, in our case, it's not just about the collection that is art, but all the others. And we are in a context of Lidice, so even though we try to position Lidice art collection somehow a little bit more towards kind of a celebration of life, which is the idea of the collection in 1967 or 1966 when it was founded, we also are aware that we are next to the huge memorial with a very important story to tell, and so we are not able to escape it or not want to escape it. And also we are in a village which now has again 500 works, 500 people, pardon me, 500 people, and there is loads of kind of intergenerational trauma that is happening here. So this is also something to take in account when applying. So thank you, and I pass the microphone to Anna, who will present Progressione.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anna Némethné Molnár from Progressione. Thank you for being here today at our open house, and it's interesting about our project. I'm very excited to share with you a very brief overview of Progressione, the work we do, and the impact we are creating or would like to create in the field of social and engaged arts. At Progressione, we believe in the transformative power of art, not just an aesthetic pursuit, but a vehicle for social change. Our organization operates across several disciplines with a strong focus on empowering marginalized communities and promoting solidarity through arts. Progressione is a Budapest-based cultural artistic hub founded in 2010. We are a non-profit organization with global perspective, working on a wide range of interdisciplinary projects. Our mission is to encourage and develop social engaged art, facilitate cross-sectoral collaboratives, and promote cultural exchange across Europe and beyond. We are collaborating with over 40 partners, and our aim is to bridge the gap between cultures, disciplines, and people. As a cross-disciplinary organization, we operate through 6 core pillars. We call them PP Arts, PP Green, PP Code, PP Social, PP Sound, and PP Plots. Each pillar focuses on specific aspects of cultural, social, and environmental changes, from arts and culture to community-driven sustainability and digital innovation. These pillars are our foundation of our diverse activities and the guide of the work we do with our partners, artists, and communities. As we move to yes, we are the next slide. Let me highlight, no, the previous one, sorry. Let me highlight one of our key pillars, which I'm working in, the PP social pillar, which is dedicated to social engage arts. PP Social focuses on building resilient communities by fostering artistic activism, as we call it, artivism. It is through art that we address critical social issues such as identity, community building, gender equality, linguistic diversity, sustainability, and active participation in arts. Because we believe that creative minds plays a crucial, pivotal role in creating a more just society, particularly when it comes to engaging disadvantaged and marginalized communities. Through our projects, we have now 6-7 running projects in social arts. Through a project like Demart, which brings citizens into decision-making progress of art of commission, we create inclusive space for this diverse voice and heard and respected their needs and stories. In Denmark, in this project, we work with the Bethlehem Square Theatre. We were empowering young people to become art commissioners, directly influence the creation of artwork, and address local and social issues like housing, ecology, and community needs. And we created open art methodology toolbox, which makes these projects replicable. And in addition, we place a great emphasis on advancing intercultural and transcultural competencies through arts. And of course, in this project, we are empowering emerging cultural professionals as well. The participants in the Progressione residency will engage in a dynamic program. Our residency activities includes inside the works of Progressione. We will introduce our 6 pillars, our themes, our projects. You can meet our colleagues and external experts. Unfortunately, they could not join this open house, but we will work with Márton Csúzi and Daniel Voltanya from Demart project. We will also give you an opportunity to job shadowing and team integration as well. And we will organize field visits and networking opportunities around cultural institutes and grassroots initiatives in Budapest. We will organize some workshops and lectures which help you in your fields. We will provide you opportunity to participate in community events and also join in our work, contributing on ongoing projects through events, planning, research, documentation, or community tasks. We will encourage you to create your personal project or a proposal, and we will provide you mentoring and evaluation for this work. And at the end of the residency, we will organize a public event, presentation with our other project partners and professionals. I hope this overview give you a better understanding about our work and what we can provide you in this residency. So
amazing.
Thank you for your questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. So now you will have an opportunity to meet sorry, I'm trying to put it like this. Yes, Anna, who is another Anna, who is our resident at Lidice last year. She took part in our pilot residency here, which was called Solidarity Knows No Borders, which was selected under the Culture Moves Europe program. And we invited her today to give you some honest view about how this went along. So Anna, your floor.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, thanks for inviting me, Mila. If I hear all these informations about the project partners this year, I'm actually sad I cannot apply again and just do it all over because this sounds amazing. Yeah, so what I can tell you about my experiences in the residency last year is that it was a very special time. I was just finishing my studies of my master's in art history and film history, and I had worked different jobs before, but this was something very special due to different reasons. I think the most important part was the embedding in the structure of Lidice and the Lidice art collection. I think it was very special to be there in Lidice and be able to do my own research on the topic of remembrance culture and everything, but also work together with the different curators from other countries and also with Miloslav and other mentors and staff in the museum. It was very special to meet all those different people and get to know the work of the collection and also of the museum itself, to see how everybody is involved in kind of trying to bring it to a new era in a way. I think there's a lot of very, very interesting program happening, and yeah, it was actually very nice. We had lots of time to connect with the surroundings, with the museum, but also with the collection. And the structure of the whole residency was, yeah, based on these info parts or on these workshops we had, and kind of getting into it and having people kind of lead us through the institution. And on the other hand, we had lots of time and also like creative space to connect with each other, with the other curators, to see what they are working on, what their perspectives are, and also develop from this standpoint a project together, which was open for us to do. We were kind of encouraged to think about different project ideas, and we came up with an exhibition in the end of our time, which we kind of put together very quickly then in the end, because actually the time is not so much. Even if you think in the beginning you have time, in the end it's always not enough. But it was very, very important for us, I think, to work on something together. And it was also very challenging because we come from different backgrounds. But also I learned so much for my future studies, research, and also for work environment, how to come up with ideas, and how to collectively think about what's actually going on there, because the place in Lidice is very special. It's a special surrounding because you have these this part of the town where you know what happened there and you can go there, and it's just a very special atmosphere in a way. And also the archive of the objects and the photos is very special to see and very moving. Coming from a German perspective as well, thinking a lot about responsibility in this time we have now. Yeah, and then to come up with the ideas together and kind of put together an exhibition was very special. And I actually came back a few months later And we had this kind of interactive wall, which we thought would not work, or we were like afraid it would not work. And it actually did work, and people were engaging with what we thought about and discussed about. And that was very, very special to see.
Superb. Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you for sharing with us. Please stay with us for the Q&A session at the end.
Definitely, yeah.
It would be great. Thank you. And I want to say that obviously this the reason why we're doing this today. This session is that each residency will be slightly different. So obviously you now heard a little bit more about Lidice, previous resident here, but obviously if you go through Meet the Partners, you look at the things that you are offered in each part, you will discover what specialty each place has, because every place is unique, and every place that you will be able to be part of as part of this residency will offer you a unique experience. And that brings us to something that will unite us. We have worked, and when we have designed this program and applied and tried to think how we will actually share this with more people than will be selected, because as you can imagine, with the first goal was to get a fully funded residency, because we think that residencies should be fully funded. Fortunately, we were lucky enough for this to be able to achieve that. However, after we thought, well, so many people apply and then their work is kind of, you might not be accepted for whatever reasons, and then basically that's that. So we thought, well, actually, we live in a time when you can share more things with people much easier through online. And so we created this ESR Commons, which is a free membership that you get on our website. It will be open only until the deadline. So if you apply, you will get these benefits. If you come one day later, it won't be accessible, because we are trying to create a community of people with a similar interest. And obviously it will again will be open when we have the second open call in a year's time, as a benefit for those that apply. So the Commons, ESR Commons, offers you the application portal. That's a very strong word. It's an application form at the moment, but we try to improve the website as we go, and we hope it will be much more user-friendly in coming days and weeks. Also, the whole residency and even beyond residency, we will run an online lecture series with Q&As. I mentioned in the first open house that some of these might become available public, but definitely if you are part of ESR Commons, you will have an access to the Q&A. If you're going to be selected as a resident, you will also have a possibility of having direct one-on-ones with those lecturers. That's the one extra benefit you get as a resident. But if you are part of the ESR Commons, you will have an access to these lectures and Q&As, and obviously on the ESR Commons you can replay them and access them directly there. And we are working on enabling some community channel that will be a place in which you can work and communicate with each other, even on the long distance, or actually not being here at all. As I mentioned last time, there is one other reason why we have the Commons, because basically this enables us to ensure that good manner, if I say this way, but that we can control and monitor if people are behaving to each other according to our standards, and obviously make some interventions if that's not the case. We don't want to obviously police your conversation, but unfortunately online is not just full of nice people, sadly. All the details are on our website, and this leads us to the end of our recorded part. So I want to thank everyone who joined us for today's session. I want to thank all the speakers for their contributions. If you have any questions, you can send us an email at any time. We try to respond within 24 hours if the next day is a working day. So, you know, on a weekend we try to keep on good well-being. And of course, you can apply for the ESR on our website, as already mentioned. You can also find much more information than there. As noted at the start, we will make this recording available on our website, and the slideshow will be available there as well. So thank you everyone who is here for the recording, and have a good day.